before we begin, I wanted to say that, hi, I'm back. That 9 months away was, really needed, and I feel refreshed, I feel refreshed. Finally, I'm coming back to YouTube after 9 whole months. I could have had a baby in that time. I also wanted to mention in passing that, I'm engaged. And I'm in a poly relationship, so that's great. Anywho, hello, it's your boy Leo, and welcome to another story time. If you're new here, welcome to my channel, Sweet Pea. How about you hit that subscribe button? I promise I will upload semi-regularly, maybe. Thank you. Mwah! Anyways, on to the story. So about, 2.5 years ago, I used to work at a phone place. We would sell phones and phone accessories, and along with our hourly paycheck, we would also get a second paycheck for commission. Now, for someone who hadn't ever had a job like that, that was just like crazy good to me. I had to accept the job right then and there because of the fact that, I'd never had 2 paychecks at a job before. Considering I didn't have to pay rent back then, that was a lot of money for me. Sorry, I went off on a tangent. Now, while it was true that I liked the job, my manager, he was a different story. I did not like him at all. He was pushy, he was arrogant, he was annoying, and just always acted like he was part of Gen Z, even though he was a boomer. He was absolutely a boomer. But he was tolerable, I guess. The real problem arose when my manager got promoted. He put little old me, for some reason, mind you, I hadn't been there for very long, but yet he entrusted me to do this. He put me in charge of somewhat training the new manager that was supposed to come into the place in his place. I'm reading this off of a script, and I still managed to trip over my words. So, frankly, I didn't think that, was the best idea, but I guess since I was technically the hardest worker, I knew the most and could give the new manager the rundown of how things were. Now, the new manager. Oh my goodness. Imagine mansplaining, but like personified. That was him. He would criticize how my coworkers and I would sell, and he was also extremely sexist, and at the time, I wasn't really out as transgender, so he saw me as a woman. But he would always go on and on about how, as a woman, I shouldn't be training him, which, excuse me? He's lucky I didn't report him, but you'll see why he gets his comeuppance later. Or really how. He also didn't like the fact that, even though I was technically under him, I was training him, which I guess I can kind of understand. I can see how it can feel a little bit demeaning, but I mean, you're new, you've never been here before, so shut up. He would never listen to anything that I would tell him, and would rather do things trial and error instead of listening to me in the first place. And among all of that, I just never got a really good vibe from him. He always seemed like just extremely creepy to me, and seemed just extremely secretive, and just he annoyed the gosh darn out of me trying to keep this family friendly, but we know that's not gonna happen at some point. He annoyed the gosh darn frick out of me, and so I finally had enough. One day I just finally had enough. So before I get into this, I would like to make one thing clear about sales positions. Usually, the main goal of a good salesperson is to fit the customer with what they need. Only upsell if it's something that you know that they would need. We're not trying to just sell shit to people. There I go, I already cursed. But we're not trying to sell stuff to people just to sell it. We have to actually, kind of care about the customer too. Trying to force a product on a person because you want the sale is not good salesmanship. Okay? Learn something from this. It is not good salesmanship. A good salesperson listens to the customer and then fits them with the product that best fits their needs. That manager? He didn't think like that. His entire goal was upselling, upselling, upselling. The straw that broke the camel's back was when I ended up losing a sale. Okay, let me pause right here. If I have a potential to get a sale in any sales job, and you frick that up for me, you are on my shit list. I cursed again, I don't care. You are on my shit list. Because you do not make me lose a sale because you're inadequate. And that is exactly what happened. I ended up losing a sale because of the fact that a certain prepaid phone company didn't call to Canada without paying I think a $10 fee. The customer that had asked me about it said that it was too much of a hassle and too much money and that they were on a budget, which, I mean, that's understandable. And see, me as a salesperson, I'm not going to try and swindle a customer into paying more than they need to or more than they have the ability to. My old manager had always told me to sell and to pander to the customer's need, to help customers save money, whilst we make money by saving people money. That's a lot of money to be saving. And, well, that's how he got promoted in the first place. My new manager, however, got mad that I lost the sale, and then told me that I shouldn't have even told them about the phone company not being able to call to Canada because it's not like they couldn't call, they would just have to pay extra, and because of that, I lost the sale and I didn't make the money. And I could already see, just start to see what kind of sleazy sleaze master he was just by that comment. So, in an effort of debate, I told him word for word, my job as a salesperson isn't just to make money, it's also to benefit the customer. I'm not going to make the customer pay more than they have to when they're on a tight budget. Customers are not bots. They are people. And yeah, some customers are dumb as fuck. They're still people. With real needs, real jobs, real money. So of course, I'm not going to make a customer pay more than they have to or need to or can even have the ability to. So then he told me that if I'm so worried about the benefit of the customer, that I shouldn't be in a sales job in the first place. By that time, I was fuming, because who the fuck says that to somebody? I had been doing just fine without him, and I was one of the best on my team, so being scolded by the new guy whom I was supposed to be training rubbed me the wrong way. I then kept getting bombarded with him scolding me for losing a sale in front of another customer, might I add. So I finally put my hand up and told him that I understood and that I'd rather him not continue. But of course, him being the meathead he was, the idiotic okay, I'm not gonna go there. The meathead he was, that made him angrier. I'm slowly realizing that this is turning more into a rant than a story time, but I don't care. You're going to have to hear my neurotic, catatonic anger towards this man. So then, he told me, "You're not just going to sit here and disrespect me. I'm not your old manager." I told him that it didn't matter who he was, I wasn't going to allow myself to be talked down to as if I didn't know what I was doing, considering I'd been working here longer and doing just fine. You see, the only reason I had stopped his previous scolding was because of the fact that I didn't want to say something that I would have regretted, and I was trying to distance myself from the situation, considering that I was starting to get angrier than I really needed to be, and then I needed to talk to other customers as well, because, well, I was at work, and he was supposed to be activating a phone, yet he was instead worried about my business and my sales. Go worry about your own sales. You've left this other customer sitting there, standing there, waiting because you're berating me. That's not good salesmanship. That's being petty. That's also not being a good manager because you're not setting a good example for the other employees. After that, I was heated. I'd had enough. My face was red. So I went on my break, and a few coworkers came up to me to tell me that what my manager said and did was out of line, and that my old manager shouldn't have hired him in the first place. So that just reaffirmed me that this guy was in the wrong and was a terrible manager. At that point, I'd had enough of his unruliness, his misogyny, and his just general disrespect that he'd thrown my way. So after my break, I quit right then and there, no 2 weeks notice. I literally just set my name tag down and ran. That is not the first time I've done that, and I will probably post a story time on the first time I've done that. That is also not good practice. Please don't be me. Now here's the juicy part. The part that made me make this story time in the first place. So about a month or two later, I got a text from one of my ex-coworkers. He just goes, "OMG Leo, you were right about the manager." Now, this was so out of the blue, I was just confused and just also extremely curious. So he then proceeded to tell me that my ex-manager had managed to get arrested that week for stealing the iPhones. Karma's a bitch. The amount of satisfaction that poured through my body at the fact that this guy had gotten his comeuppance after I quit was just absolutely delicious. I cackled for like a good 5 minutes before letting my ex-coworker know that karma is a bitch and she is on my side. Sometimes. I don't know what's become of my ex-manager, and generally, I don't really care. I'm just glad that I managed to get revenge without ever having to lift a finger. I wonder if I should put this in pro revenge. Or petty revenge. I mean, technically this would qualify for malicious compliance, because I did quit after— Anyway, well, that seems to be the end of this story. Whew! It's been a while since I've uploaded, and I'm feeling so much better about being back. I'll try to upload as much as I can, but I'm still very busy, and I still have a lot of things going in my IRL life. That being said, I feel so much better about posting to YouTube now. So look forward to new videos, and I really hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel to become an apple slice. And don't forget to follow my social media in the description, as well as my Patreon. I actually recently opened a Patreon, so go support me on that if you would like. Alright, bye!